Today we are going to video Kiss driving in the arena. I have just brought all the horses back from the winter turnout and have taken their rugs off so they can enjoy the sun on their backs. As you can see, they are all stood around, relaxed and waiting to see which one I am going to work with today. It is so rewarding to see them like this, as it shows they are happy to spend time with me, as a lot of horses would know what was coming up and would make themselves scarce. You'll see that Yolo has understood that it is Kiss's time with me, and he knows it is okay for him to wander around the yard. He still stays close by. He could go off down to the wood chip to eat some hay, but he chooses to stay with the herd. I am harnessing Kiss up at liberty, as there is no need to tie her up. I have purposely put the harness some distance away from Kiss, so I have to keep leaving her to go and pick up each piece. I do this to show that Kiss understands it is her responsibility to stand without the need to be told so all the time. I take the time to teach all the horses this, as it carries through their daily handling, like changing rugs or putting the halters on and off to lead them back and forth from the winter turnout. It makes life so much easier for me when they are happy to stand and wait for me to do what is necessary. Tell has now cottoned on that it is Kiss's turn to be driven today, so she goes for a mooch about like Yolo has. You will notice that it has no effect on Kiss, as it does not even cross her mind to follow, as she knows what is expected of her, and is happy to stand still whilst I harness her up. You can hear Tell exploring and getting up to mischief in the background, and that is when she's not trying to assist the cameraman, that is. If you have been watching the videos of Kiss and Tell, of their progress, you will notice that Tell has experienced all that Kiss is going through as well. I think it is good to teach them and to drive them as singles first before putting them together as a pair. They are so different in character and personality that each pony has needed more time in learning some things more than the other, and sometimes the other pony has understood certain things quicker. So it is only fair to each pony to spend the time needed for them to understand everything fully, as it will save them going through any unnecessary stress or anxiety. I know it seems that it takes longer in doing them separately at first, but it does save time in the long run. When I have finished giving Kiss her foundation training, and she is up to Tell's standard of education, they will very quickly settle into becoming a lovely pair of driving ponies, and I am sure they will be happy in their vocation and will enjoy working as one unit. In a moment you can hear in the background that a large empty lorry is coming out of the forest at high speed, so is making a lot of noise. The other horses have gone across the yard to watch it, but it has no effect on Kiss. She does not feel the need to turn and face in the direction of the lorry as they have done, even though she cannot see what is going on behind her, as at the moment she has her blinkers on. It is all good experience for her. Apart from long reining and driving Kiss in the arena, I have also been taking her out for walks in hand, so she gets used to seeing all sorts of traffic. Often, when I hear any reasonably large vehicles coming when I'm out with her, I will stand her in the gateway with her back to the oncoming traffic, so she gets used to things coming up from behind her. She has had several trips in the horse box down to the village to see the big wide world in preparation for when she is driven out through the village. It is good for Kiss to gain experience travelling in the trailer too, so it becomes a norm, and then it is not such a big deal in the future. We are now harnessed up, ready to long rein her down to the arena. Notice how she will wait for the instruction to walk on and not before. At this point, Iolo and Tell knows where we are going, and they have already head off down to the wood chip. You wouldn't actually know this, as Kiss is not feeling the need to race off after them, and she's happy to walk along nicely and calmly and not trying to catch them up. As you can see, they are now eating the hay net, and Kiss just walks on by, not wanting to stop with them. That's a nice purposeful walk across the wood chip towards the arena. I ask her to back up by the voice. She's gone slightly crooked, so I click, which she knows means go forward, so I can ask her to back again, and this time much straighter. Good girl. I reach to open the gate. Notice how loose the reins are, and they are touching her legs and are at different lengths, but she knows to ignore this, as her instructions at this moment is to stand and wait no matter what I am doing behind her. She walks on nicely. I turn her, and there's a step down into the arena. Good girl. I ask her to stand nicely. Notice how loose the reins are as I turn to close the gate. Good girl. And off we go. She looks nice and settled and confident in what I'm asking her to do. We are now ready to put to. We walk over to the trap together. She lines up nice and ready to accept the shafts. She knows it's her responsibility now to stand still and wait whilst I attach the traces, the breeching, and do the belly band up. Now I know I would normally have my groom here to assist me with this process, but we are in a safe environment and my groom is being the cameraman at the moment. As with Tell, these ponies have had many hours of training and have no worries or fear of what is being asked of them, so they are happy to do what is required of them without any problem. The trust we have built together over these past weeks is very strong, and I wouldn't do anything to jeopardise that. Kiss is happily standing there. As you can see, she is attentive and completely aware of what I am doing. Good girl. So often you see horses standing tense even with a groom at their head when they're being put to. They stand with their heads held high, with their bottom neck muscle bulging, which to me looks like an accident about to happen. When you think back 6 weeks ago, Kiss was such a different pony. As soon as she felt the slack come out of the rope, she would pull like mad and take off when she was asked to do something she didn't want to do. She might be a small pony in height, but she had a big attitude. It gives me so much pleasure to see how light and responsive she has become with education. I ask her to walk on. Good girl. She sets off in a nice relaxed walk without the need to shoot off. This is only the 5th time Kiss has pulled the trap and has taken to it very well. So much so that we have been teaching her how to weave through the cones to add some interest for her rather than just doing circles and straight lines. We like to do lots of transitions as it helps to keep the connection and the concentration of the pony. So I'll ask her to come down to a walk in a moment, all from the voice. And she will do a very prompt halt and a stand. Good girl. I am now going to ask her to weave in and out the cones at a walk. There are quite tight turns for her, but you can see she manages it very well. We can also weave at the trot. And you will see she manages to trot the very small circle around the end cone, which is quite a task for such a young pony. And she happily does this even whilst blowing her nose. I am very pleased with Kiss as she has not had any issues at all with learning to become a driving pony. She has accepted all the different parts of her harness without a problem, and accepted the trap behind her without the need to practice pulling anything like a tyre or a gate like some people do. Another nice transition down. Good girl. And here I'm going to ask her to halt, as it is Peter's turn to have a drive now. I think it is good that she learns to be driven by different people right from the start, as she has to get used to working out what is required from her, as people sound different and give slightly different commands and instructions. It will set her up nicely for when her owner takes the reins. Peter's going to show a prime example what people do differently when asking the pony to drive. He is going to take her straight to the fence and stop, and then ask her to back up. This is quite a good test for Kiss, as her personality has an inclination towards her thinking she already knows what to do. You will see that Peter insists on his request until she complies. Good girl. Now that has given her something to lick and chew on. After all the groundwork both Kiss and Tell have received, they both accepted the trap and the confinement of the shafts exceptionally well. So often you hear of horses shooting out of the shafts or even kicking the trap when they are first put to, and we had none of that. I think that'll do for this session. Good girl. She stands nicely, so Peter can take the trap away from her. It makes me so pleased to see her stood like this at liberty, as she looks contented and full of self-confidence in a good way. Even when she feels the shafts being taken out of the tugs and Peter takes the trap away, she is still happy to stand. A lot of ponies would have gone off by now. Good girl. She is such a patient pony. Well done, Kiss. I am sure Tell will be proud to be your lifelong driving partner.